Check.
MSU, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Oh, sure.
We get 9 o'clock, so let's call this meeting up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Thank you.
Jenny David,
Here.
Roger Mayhew,
Yes.
Charles Wiltie,
Here.
Brenda Simmons,
Yes.
Greg Scott.
Yes.
Additions or corrections to the agenda? No additions or corrections? Someone entertain a motion to accept agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept the.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Wiltie with support from Commissioner Simmons. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3A, review of minutes. We got the May 25th, 2023, excuse me, regular meeting minutes. Has the commissioners had an opportunity to review those minutes? Someone entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes.
We have a motion from Commissioner Wiltie,
Second.
support from Commissioner Simmons. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3B, June 1st, 2023, Committee of the Whole meeting minutes.
Yeah.
We have a motion from Commissioner Mayhew to approve those minutes. Do we have a support?
I'll support.
Support from Commissioner Wiltie. Any further discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, public comment and agenda item matters only. Our treasurer is going to give her report at this time.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Karen Pudlowski, your Ogemaw County Treasurer. I have a webinar to get to attend, and I didn't want to miss giving my elected official report today. I wanted to let you know that on May 23rd, we provided a township treasurer training. That was a great success. We had wonderful participation from our treasurers. They were very engaged in the networking and in the education. We provided to them a valuable tool of resources for them to use at the township, filled with all kinds of information to have resources at their fingertips as a township treasurer, because we have a few new ones who, when they are first beginning, there's not a whole lot of education and training, and we thought this would be a great tool for them. So that was super exciting. They really enjoyed it, and we have great feedback from them on this training. I wanted to let you know that the land bank blight elimination grant was submitted, and we are hopeful to be approved to work on 2 projects this year, one in Churchill Township and one in Rose Township. And new and exciting on the delinquent tax notices, we added scan and pay with QR codes to our notices.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. You just scan this code with your phone. It takes you right to the credit card payment screen, making it super convenient and exciting for our taxpayers. Anyway, that's
Thank
all
you.
I have for you today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Any other public comment in the room? And this is agenda items only. No public comment in the room? Any public comment on the phone? Any public comment on the phone? Item 5, we have correspondence. We received correspondence from Eaton County, Ingham County, Lenawee County, Livingston County, Northeast Michigan Community Service Agency, Northern Michigan Children's Assessment Center. These have been received and filed. Item 6, consent agenda. Is there anybody that would like to pull anything on the consent agenda? We have resolution A, B, C, and D. Any commissioners would like to, is there any commissioners that would like to pull these individually?
Let's just do them all individually.
Item 6A, we have a resolution to approve zoning text amendment 0123A. This resolution is sponsored by Planning and Zoning Administrator Ryan Veeder. At their public hearing held on May 24th, 2023, the Planning Commission recommended approval of a text amendment to add storage to the title to better define subject matter of section 2.10, to amend regulations for camping on vacant lands and on properties with a dwelling for easier interpretation. and to revise regulations on the storage of recreational vehicles. The Michigan Zoning Enabling Act requires that amendment to an adopt zoning ordinance must be approved by a majority vote of the members of the Board of Commissioners. The proposed resolution supports the Planning Commission recommendations to approve the text change. As a resolution, I will make a motion to approve this.
I'll second.
We have a motion with support from Commissioner Simmons. Any further discussion? Simmons said yes to it. Doesn't.
Doesn't matter.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Roger Mayhew.
Yeah.
Charles Wiltie.
Yes.
Brenda Simmons. Yes. Craig Scott.
Yes.
Jenny David.
Yes. Item 6B, resolution to approve zoning text amendment 0123B. This resolution is sponsored by Planning and Zoning Administrator Ryan Veeder. At their public hearing held on May 24th, 2023, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the amendments to section 18.16 that regulate signs. In 2015, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the content-based regulations of signs, which rendered parts of the sign ordinance unconstitutional. The proposed amendment addresses those changes and adds definitions. The Michigan Zoning Enabling Act requires that amendments to an adopted zoning ordinance must be approved by a majority vote of the members of the Board of Commissioners. The proposed resolution supports the Planning Commission recommendation to approve the text change.
Make the motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Scott, support from Commissioner Simmons. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Charles Wiltie.
Yes.
Brenda Simmons.
Yes.
Craig Scott.
Yes.
Jenny David.
Yes.
Roger Mayhew.
Item 6C, resolution to authorize ORV repair and budget adjustments. This resolution is sponsored by Sheriff Brian Gilbert. The Ogemaw County Sheriff's Office provides ORV patrols with grant proceeds provided by the state. During a recent rescue operation, a county ORV unit experienced a catastrophic transmission failure that rendered the vehicle inoperable. The approval fiscal year 2024 ORV budget does not include funds sufficient to replace the transmission unit. Approval of the resolution will authorize transfer of $2,075 from the ORV fund designated fund balance and up to $2,425 from contingency line item to be applied to transmission repairs. The resolution also authorizes the sheriff to schedule transmission repairs at a cost not to exceed $4,500, subject to compliance with procedures set forth in the purchasing procedures policy.
Make a motion to support, or make a motion to pass the resolution.
Support.
We have a motion from Commissioner Scott with support from Commissioner Wiltie. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Brenda Simmons. Yes. Craig Scott.
Yes.
Jenny David.
Yes.
Mayhew.
Yes.
Charles Wiltie.
Yes.
Item 60, resolution to update various county fees. This resolution is sponsored by the County Administrator / Controller Timothy Delahoney. Fees for service are an important component of the annual budget, and as such, a recommended fee schedule should be reviewed by the board annually. Departments were asked to review current fees and to suggest changes were needed. This resolution would establish a fee schedule effective on October 1st, 2023.
I will make a motion to accept the resolution to update various county fees.
We have a motion from Commissioner Wiltie. Is there a support? Commissioner Simmons?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Craig Scott.
Yes.
Jenny David.
Yes.
Roger Mayhew.
Yes.
Charles Wiltie.
Yes.
Brenda Simmons. Yes.
New business, item 7A, claims. I believe claims was in a amount of $137,161.02. And Commissioner Simmons and Commissioner Mayhew reviewed bills. Do you guys, Commissioner Simmons, would you like to have the floor?
I just want to pay the bills.
What were in the bills? Any a rundown?
I think the Tahoe's already prepaid on there. They already sent a check off for that, right? I'm assuming they did since it's in
Yeah,
there.
it's in here, so.
Yeah, I see it. Tahoe was paid for.
Out of this? Out of this,
Was that amount approved here, so I'm saying. Look. Hold on a second. One approved. Yeah, prepaid 40,548, so it's a prepaid thing. This was, we approved it, they must have probably paid it. For this, yeah, it's been paid. And it's on here, yes.
Tim, did you have something?
No, it's kind of a low number this time through.
Yes, it is. I was surprised when I saw the 137,000. I didn't have any problem going through all those there. It was very low.
Where is the 450 for the asphalt paving maintenance? Where the repair? Where'd we do that at? What driveway?
Over by the juvenile center across the street, it was described by one person as a sinkhole.
Oh,
It was a pretty significant pothole. Definitely would have damaged the rim had somebody run into it, so it needed to be patched. I do have a picture of the patch if anybody wants to see it. And see what my social life is like. I carry around patched potholes.
Mr. Mayor, do you have anything to add to bills? You reviewed them as well, correct? Yes,
We got through it.
thank you. I had a track thing, but. Questions, guys? Can we entertain a motion to pay the bills?
I retain that motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner Simmons.
Yeah.
Support from Commissioner Mayhew. Any further discussion? Roll call vote,
Jenny David,
yes.
Roger Mayhew,
Yes.
Charles Wiltie,
Yes.
Brenda Simmons,
Yes,
Craig Scott.
Yes,
Resolution carries. Item 7B, Commissioners, are there any other new business that you guys would like to discuss at this time?
well, I did see that report from the building department. That was pretty thorough.
Barry?
I don't have anything else.
Item 8, unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? Commissioners? Item 9, Administrator / Controllers Report. Tim, you have the floor.
Hey, you've got a document on the iPads, I think about 2 pages worth of various things, but a couple of other items not on there. First, since we last met, auctions were concluded on the dog box, Impala, and the Ranger. The dog box sold for $405. Interesting side note on that, we had somebody who bid on that originally for a beehive, which never heard of that, but that individual did not win the bid, so it's not what will happen with it. The Impala sold at $1,500 and the old Ford Ranger sold for $1,875. And there was a last minute bidding war on that, so it's just an interesting thing to watch. At the next committee of the whole meeting, you're going to see a list of obsolete computer equipment that Tom would like to put out for auction. So you'll get to see what all that entails now. But that equipment, I would not be surprised if we didn't sell a lot of it because it's obsolete, but we'll put it out there. And if there is any revenue to be had from that, we'll certainly see that. 2 training opportunities, well, training and information opportunities. The first one on Monday, the 12th, reminder to the board, we do have a budget training with our department heads over at the annex at 9 o'clock. Rod Taylor, who formerly was with Department of Treasury, Local Government Division, will be leading the discussion. He's now working with the Maynard accounting firm out of Lansing. They actually have enhanced their consulting wing now, and Rod is part of that. So his job is to go to local governments like Ogemaw County and talk about things like basic budgeting skills and just exactly how the full budget works. I've seen the presentation already. He's already forwarded me the PowerPoint that he will be presenting. Very thorough, very on target. I think very, very much in line with what we need to have here at the county. So very much looking forward to that.
what time is that, please?
That'll be 9 o'clock on June 12th.
It says 9 to 10. Are you approximating an hour?
No, I'm approximating 2 hours. It should be
Okay.
9 to 11 and potentially more. I mean, Rod understands there may be questions that will probably prolong that. But hitting just all of the major points of a budget, I think is gonna be very worthwhile for attendance. Now, we're not restricting attendance. Obviously, we're targeting department heads, commissioners, et cetera. But I know some departments are actually bringing other employees as well, so that there's a nice thorough understanding of how the budget works. So I'm heartened at least to see that so far. The second item on Monday, June 26th, at times to be determined, MERS, the Municipal Employees Retirement System, will be here to talk to our employees about a few things. This is kind of an annual thing where they talk about the specifics. If an employee wants to sign up for a 457 plan, they can do that. But I've also asked MERS this time to set aside some time to just talk to employees about the importance of the retirement benefit and how it works. We offer employees up to 7% match for the defined contribution component, but the 457 component is relatively foreign to most of our employees, probably not understanding that they can contribute more to that. So what I've asked them to do is just to talk to the employees about the importance of socking a little bit away every paycheck to prepare for retirement, even if it's 30 years down the road. It's just important to do. And I think it's just a good overall training for the employees to have. We'll see what kind of attendance we get, but at least the opportunity is there. And I'm hoping that we'll have some takers on that. Last thing, just for the board, back when there was still snow on the ground, I had just a brief kind of sidebar conversation at one of our meetings about your per diems and how to notify the county, that you're owed a per diem. We did set up, I don't know if we call it a subroutine or what we call it, on the Nova time, an opportunity for commissioners to literally punch the clock, if you will. So if you have a standing committee meeting that is subject to the per diem, you can literally on your phone just punch that we had the meeting. It will go into the payroll system, and then you'll receive the per diem payment with the payroll when it occurs. So every other week, there's an opportunity for you to receive that. The key to this, though, is that when you do have a standing committee meeting, that you hit that as soon as you can after the meeting has occurred, because literally it goes into the payroll system. If you had a meeting that was a month ago, system's not going to help you because it's only looking at the current pay period. So it's crucial that that happen. Now, if you don't have it on your phone yet, see me after the meeting. We'll get you set up. I do have one per diem request that was turned in on the expense voucher. That's fine. We'll get that submitted, but it's because it's considered payroll, be much better, much preferred if you punch the Nova time key on your phone and it gets registered, and you can just forget about it at that point. It gets into the system and payments will be made. It's just part of the whole modernizing thing and getting us all into the IT age here that allows, I think, for much better accounting and much more convenient, I think, for everybody. So that's my report, unless there's questions on that written report.
Yeah, the Nova, I thought that it was me that turned in the expense. I did a week or two ago. I thought the Nova part, oh, I don't mind. I thought that it didn't matter if we turned that in quarterly. I thought those questions were asked, so I apologize if I was incorrect.
Well, like I said, if you wanted to turn it in on the expense sheet, we can still process that, but it's, I'll leave that to your call. But the idea of doing it into the Nova time, because it's considered payroll by the IRS, it's much better to just do it by the Nova time, because everything that we need to do is done automatically. Any deductions, for withholdings or whatever that have to come from that just happens. We turn it in on the sheet, and that has to be manually done in the clerk's office. And one of the main driving points behind overtime was to shorten up that time that we spend, literally keying in data.
Kind of like a time clock.
Yeah.
So I apologize. That is 100% me. As far as I appreciate this administrator/controller report. I think it's very good. We've talked about communication. A plan going forward as far as with this new role, as far as adding a controller to your title. And maybe this is probably a good committee of the whole addition, as far as what your plan is, as far as this new role. I know we talked about like some staffing changes and some role changes in that, like what your plan is as this is moving forward in that regard. Can you please give that to us?
Sure.
So you'll add that to the committee of the whole at the next report?
Will.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything else for the administrator/controller?
I have one question.
Yes.
I haven't submitted any stuff yet.
You're gonna be in trouble next.
I'll talk to you
I'll
after.
figure it out.
Thank you. I have it all documented in my book.
I apologize if this made trouble. I thought we had discussed it and I didn't think it was
Yeah, it's new, so, we expect bumps, but
it will be corrected on my end, so I apologize for that. Anything else?
This will be nice.
Item 10, elected officials and department head reports. We have MSU, Julie. Come on up, guys, and Phil.
And Bill.
You guys have the floor.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Good morning. Julie Darton, MSU Extension District Director for MSU Extension District 4. You have the printed copy of the annual report in front of you. I'm not going to read the report, big disappointment, to you. You can take a look at it on your leisure. And I also gave you a postcard that we use to help people understand that we have resources related to food safety. Phil reminded me today that yesterday was World Food Safety Day, where we understand that foodborne illness is less common than it once was in our country because there are lots of things in place to make sure that we have a safe and reliable food source. But we also offer people the opportunity to learn how they can preserve their own food and how they can manage food resources appropriately. So this time of year, when people are doing lots of things like open houses, we have education that reminds people to keep, cold things cold and keep hot food hot. Because the last thing you want is to go to somebody's open house and then not feel great the next couple of days as a result of that. I'm going to let Phil talk about his work, but I just want to say that to cover just in general, the partnership that we have with Ogemaw County is longstanding and right now is supported by a millage that was passed in 2018. Just to remind you all, that millage is 0.1465 mils. And that provides us the opportunity to have a full-time 4-H program coordinator hired, to have support staff to support that office and the resources that we use as part of that. And I want to appreciate the work that you as commissioners do to make sure that you're overseeing those funds and maintaining that partnership. So those funds are split into quarterly payments for the portion that goes to campus. And that money is pooled. That local money provides an anchor point for state and federal funds to come to Ogemaw County. Those state and federal funds support salary dollars for other folks in our office. So 3 out of the 4 of us in the office are completely funded by state derived dollars. One person that we are in the process of hiring is a community nutrition instructor. Those funds come from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, and specifically those funds originate in the National Farm Bill. And those funds support a nationwide program for supplemental nutrition assistance programming education. So SNAP benefits or EBT benefits. We offer education for people who are eligible to receive those benefits. They don't have to have received benefits to be part of that education program, but that is the work that we do. And those staff that we have engage in lots of things in schools. They work across the lifespan. So they'll work with older adults, they'll work with people with developmental disabilities to teach them how to make good choices, healthy choices around food, and to maintain their food budget. So different things happen in our lives, and the focus on the budget part has been really important in the last year. So we're teaching people about, how to be good stewards of the money that they spend with their food dollars, and how to get the most out of it so that they can keep themselves and their families healthy with a good diet. We work to respond to community needs. And so increasingly we've done remote work. When I first started, I was completely remote because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And we're increasingly doing hybrid, just the same way that the Board of Commissioners is doing, where you have people here in this room, and then you have people who are joining virtually. So we're doing hybrid engagement, we're still delivering remotely, and we're still doing in-person delivery. The small card that I put at your place details some hotline resources that we have. So some people don't use the computer. They're more comfortable talking to people and getting calls back.
So we have these hotlines set up where you can leave a message and someone calls you back to answer your question. And those are on specific topics, one of which is food safety, one of which is lawn and garden questions. So those are 800 toll-free calls that people can use their phone to say, this is going on with my spruce tree, or why is this happening in my garden, or I don't know what this moth is. I got that question this week. Somebody came into the office. And so we work hard to make sure that we're meeting those needs. On the flip side of that card is a QR code that allows people to go to our Ask Extension portal, and that is an online portal. And that allows people to ask questions that they may have. All you have to do is type in your question and say what county you're communicating from. And those questions are routed to staff across the state, and it's wide ranging. So Phil gets questions, I'm sure, through that Ask Extension portal. And there, sometimes even I get questions about my former focus area of working with local food. So that's another way that we're trying to be responsive to those community needs. We're very excited that we're in the process of hiring a new 4-H program coordinator. Commissioner Wiltsey has been able to serve on that interview committee. We've done an applicant review, and we're looking to have our first round of interviews very soon for that position. We did have to extend that position. We worked on different ways to publicize that employment opportunity. And so we're excited to invite folks to that first round of interviews. We do have exploration days coming up. That's an opportunity for youth ages 12 and up to go to Michigan State's campus, to stay on campus and experience different educational opportunities that are created specifically for them. We see this as an important step on helping kids connect with a post-secondary experience. That might lead them to Michigan State. It might lead them to any number of other career opportunities. So it is designed to help people understand what post-college or what post-high school life can be like. We do have youth attending from Ogemaw County. We didn't recruit as many as we would like to in the future, so we'll be looking to increase that. We do have engagement through youth programming with Whittemore Prescott schools. We have a staff member who's based there. And she is assigned to the IOSCO office, but she's working with kids from Whittemore Prescott schools that also live in Ogemaw County, doing after-school programming, in-school enrichment programming, specifically around STEM projects and things like that. And then we have community and natural resources based programming. So we're encouraging people to get involved in place-based learning opportunities, and again, across the lifespan. So we have Master Gardener volunteer education programs. We have conservation stewardship programs. We're teaching people who want to learn about being stewards of their own land and their forest resources and things like that. We're concentrating on inland lakes and coastal fisheries issues. And the work of the Northern Michigan counties group is led by someone who's associated through that community and economic development, natural resources focused land, John Amrine. So I'll let Phil talk a little bit about his work, which is not just dairy and beef, it's wide ranging. Go ahead, Phil.
Well, I just came along because Julie said this was a COW meeting. I'm always up for a good cow meeting.
That's next week.
Very funny.
So you're gonna tell us the other side of the story? Okay,
I want to remind you of the importance,
go ahead and milk it out.
importance of dairy, even in this county. You know that we've lost some dairy farms in the county, right? 2022, last year, MDR gave me a list of farms in the state. There was 27 dairy farms listed for Ogemaw County. We don't have 27 today. We're down from that. But every 200 cows, every 200 dairy cows, is approximately $1 million of income coming in from out of the county to the county. Ogemaw County has 7,000 to 8,000 dairy cows because some farms have gotten larger. Means 35 to $40 million of money coming into the county from outside the county. That's big. That's important for our businesses in the county, because a lot of that money is spent in county that supports other businesses. Now, I don't just work in Ogemaw County, I work all over the state. But Ogemaw County is still a dairy player and still an important facet of our economy. I also work with beef farmers. So I just thought I'd tell you a few things I've just done recently, because frankly, if it's not recent, I don't remember it, right? Monday, I was down on campus for a meeting by the Center for PFAS Research. PFAS, you probably are familiar with this in term, forever chemical. Well, first of all, it's not forever, but it is a long-term chemical contaminant of water, of soil, and potentially for a food chain. We've already had one herd identified in Michigan that had PFAS in beef cattle because it was in the feed. I had a call last year from a farmer in Iosco County saying, hey, my neighbor had sludge from Wordsmith Aerospace applied to his land. I rented land and planted a hay crop in that land. Can I harvest that hay crop, feed it to my cows? So that's real, that's local. And PFAS is something that we hear about and learn more about in the future. Just Tuesday then, I was at 3 farms in different parts of the state, and every farmer is different. Every farmer's needs are different, depending on what their size, depending on what the situation, depending on what they're dealing with at the time. And one of the things that we're dealing with one farm is crisis planning. Planning ahead for when there's a crisis, because crises do occur. In fact, we're working in that case with an insurance company, the company that insured the farm. They obviously have a stake in vested interest in what happens on the farm. And they said, hey, just this week, we've had 4 claims about accidents on farms or involving farms. And so it's important that people work ahead, plan ahead, and also reduce risk, because our focus is not just on planning for risk, but reducing risk. So I just wanted to share some of those things with you. I'd be glad to answer any questions. I love working here. I love my job because it gives me the opportunity to really see businesses thrive, families succeed, and communities grow. Brenda.
Yes, how many dairy farms are there in Michigan now? Do you know that answer?
Yeah, I don't have an exact number for you, but I'm going to say it's around. I'm going to say it's around 900.
900 dairy farms?
Yeah, it's really dropped. We've lost a lot of dairy.
What was it? Let's say a couple years ago. I mean, even dairy farms around here in Ogemaw County are not dairy farms anymore.
So we were at 1,500, I'll say 3 or 4 years ago. At the same time, cow numbers have increased since the year 1990. Cow numbers in Michigan have increased around just under 300,000 to today around 440,000 in Michigan.
The farms are getting bigger.
Farms are getting larger. Michigan is the number 6 state in the nation for dairy. It's number 1 for milk production per cow. So I had a call from a reporter for Lancaster Farming Newspaper. Lancaster Farming Newspaper is a major agricultural publication in southeast Pennsylvania. And he said, how does Michigan get to be number 1 in milk production per cow? Pennsylvania is 31. Pennsylvania has more farms than Michigan does. And it's more cows than Michigan does. But it's farther down the line because of milk production per cow. So we'll talk about the things that Michigan does. And so it was a good reminder that, again, that Michigan is a leader in dairy production, even though we've lost a lot of farms.
Any other questions for MSU?
I have more of a statement than a
Go ahead.
question. Thanks for being here. I work with both you guys, and you guys are great assets to our community, so thank you. I just is kind of more for the commissioners, for the importance of MSU extension in our community. I think it's really important, especially with the county millage, that we're talking with our townships and letting them know what exactly we're doing and what the MSU extension is bringing to the county. It really is an important facet of the county. Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Commissioner Scott?
No, I don't have it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, I'll just briefly close by saying, we really like what we do. We could talk about it a lot more. And we appreciate all the time you've given us. I'm trying to be more consistent about coming to meetings and letting you all know what we're doing. And I'll continue to make that a priority in my schedule. We genuinely wake up every day excited to be able to serve the people that we serve, to offer the kind of information that we can offer. And so, yeah, we're kind of nerdy. But we appreciate that you're a willing audience that sees the value of the information and education that we can provide, the ways in which we can support. And I'll just mention that if you're out and about talking to townships and you think that they would like materials or would benefit from having a member of our staff come to a meeting or offer information, we would be happy to do that. I don't get out and about to township meetings as much as you all do, but I would be happy to be in any public facing group that you would invite me to. More than happy to talk about the programs we're doing or specific topics that we can offer. Thanks again for the time today. I know we made this short meeting a little longer for you, so I appreciate it.
I do have a question.
What? I'm sorry, go ahead.
You said, while trying to do your search for a director, that you went beyond the normal ways, out of the box thinking.
Yeah, for 4-H program coordinator, yes.
Yeah, did that work for you? Is that where
Yes,
you
it
got
did.
your?
Yes. Extending the time and doing more outreach did help us get, and you can talk with Commissioner Wiltsey, a bigger pool of applicants for that position.
Just
And
curious.
many of whom are local, but also people from outside the area that are applying.
Just curious.
What year did your millage expire?
I believe we have 8 years of funding, but I think we are funded, the last year of collection is 2025. So I actually had emailed Mr. Dolahany about the potential of having a renewal on the ballot next year. And we have not been able to connect with a conversation about that. Just keeping in mind when those countywide elections are, so there's not additional cost to any unit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item B, other elected officials and department heads, reports, clerk. Is that nothing? Randy, do you have anything?
Oh, since we're preparing summer tax bills now, and that's about it.
That's not good news.
Thanks.
We added a QR code to our tax bills for those townships that collect online.
Perfect. Sheriff, come on up.
Just something briefly. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
This year we had 3 opportunities for voter safety class. We did the first one at Lake Ogemaw. That was a week prior to Memorial Weekend. We had 14 members or 14 students there. Just last weekend, Chris put on another voter safety at Kenyon's. We had 19 students there. We have another one up and coming June 24th. That will be Hardwood Lake Campground. So we're going to put that back on. And then we also extended a safety class for ORV, which is going to be July 15th at Lake Ogemaw. And I would encourage everybody that's listening to follow our Facebook page. We'll have all that stuff in there listed, so everybody will know. And briefly, thank you for supporting us on that ORV transmission. We just hired one new ORV officer, fresh out of the academy. He'll work great for us. We also got a new correction officer that we hired on, and we have also a new posse member that was recently put on for helping us out. Memorial Weekend went well, nothing real major. Our Marine Patrol are out and about, just being seen and enforcement laws. And we're gonna start, and I did this a couple weeks ago. I put an email out with our department to start enforcing these ORV laws. Educate first, catch them again. I want to enforce, because when I'm not in my patrol car, I'm in my private car, I'm seeing these ORVs just going crazy down the road, and I don't like that. So I asked my people to educate first, catch them again, tighten them up. Yes, ma'am.
I've had an incident where, an ORV came and went right across. If I wouldn't have slammed on my brakes, I'd have hit the guy.
I'm seeing a lot of that. I don't see it in my patrol car, obviously, because they're watching for me. But when I'm in my own private vehicle, I see a lot of that and it's kind of,
Scary.
it's time. So anyway, we're gonna really start enforcing that. Other than that, I think I've got everything that I want to give to you folks.
Any questions for the sheriff? Scott?
I was told by people in Foster, they saw ORV enforcement happening,
Yes, yes.
saw it out of the pickup truck.
Yep,
They were surprised. They didn't even know we had a pickup truck.
we do.
Take a picture of that one, put it out there.
Right, well, that's one of them surprise attacks, you know? So, anyway, thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, they appreciate the enforcement of.
Yeah, we're gonna tighten that ORV stuff up because I'm tired of seeing it.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Any other elected officials or department heads? If there's any in the room, any on the phone? Jeff, do you have anything?
Good morning.
morning.
We have, got our ramp installed by the North Country Cooperative Parish. So we have a handicap access into the front door of our building.
Jeff, can you speak up at all?
Can you hear me now? Better?
Not real well. Try again.
How about now? That a little better?
Yeah,
Better.
Move
Go
a little
ahead.
closer. My computer's a little bit far away from me. The ramp has been installed. They finished it up Monday. North Country Community Parish, which is a group of different churches, installed the ramp for us. Jared is out in Wisconsin attending National Association of County Veteran Service Officers conference. He should be back tomorrow or Saturday. It ends tomorrow, so he'll probably leave tomorrow afternoon and get back late Friday night. But other than that, we're good to go.
Thanks, Jeff. Any other elected officials or department heads on the phone? Item 11, commissioners, any matters from the floor?
None,
Any motions for adoption?
none.
Item 12, commissioners reports. Commissioner Simmons?
Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't had, any meetings since, our last, commissioner meeting on, have to look. In May. Most of my meetings are start the second week of the month, so I have, this meeting. And then Horton and Edwards Township, I'll be on the 12th. I'll be at Parks and Rec on the 14th. I'll be at airport on the 21st. I'll be at Transit on the 22nd. Be at the MTA on the 27th. I'll be at the Health Department on the 26th. So, as you can see, all my meetings take place after the first weekend of the month. So I'm pretty busy after that. Don't forget about the fly-in that takes place on the 17th of June. 8 o'clock in the morning till noon. Usually a lot of fun. The kids really have a good time there. So bring your family. Look at the aircraft. That's about all I have. And don't forget the MTE meeting, commissioners. Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Mayhew?
Ain't got a lot. Hearing aid's been bad. Ain't been to a lot of meetings. Went to a meeting at the Committee on Aging. They said about 35% of the population in our county is over 60. So we're doing great. We must be keeping a lot of younger people here. That's all I got.
I had 3 township meetings this week, but unfortunately I missed 2 of them. I had a track banquet and I had a mandatory football meeting, so. I did attend Logan last night. We're gonna have a special meeting to discuss two topics that seem to be ongoing. One is legal and the other one is related to well, I guess there's three of them, Styles Lake Association along with a road association. What else last night with that? They talked about some brining for the roads. They redid the bathrooms in the hall. Those will be completed this week. Those bathrooms look very nice. That was really about it. They still have some hot topics that they're working on and hopefully are going to work through over the next couple of months. Commissioner Scott.
Oh, why didn't the city of West Branch meeting Monday? They put out their general road repair bids, had a couple of different paving companies bid it and they awarded it. They awarded some stump grinding in the park, 17 different stumps need to be ground out. Had numerous bids on that. They voted to discontinue Zoom meetings, but have it by request. So if you'd like to zoom in on one of their meetings, just ask for it and they'll do it for you. They asked some special events to be happening in town this year. And they went ahead and was a little proactive to moving the meeting ahead a week in July. Or because of 4th of July and things like that, there's going to be 5 Mondays, so they're just moving everything ahead one week. And the city manager's evaluation, they voted unanimously to skip it this year. They didn't feel they needed to do it. Thought he was doing a great job. I went to the road commission meeting. As I reported before, they've voted previously to discontinue the chip and dip steel coating projects and go right to overlays. You have $560,000 that they're going to put into additional overlays. They were talking about 7 different projects around the county. They had some townships calling about their brine and didn't think they were getting as much brine. Well, because it's so dry, these roads are just soaking up this brine as fast as they can put it down. And in a lot of cases, it goes down and doesn't soak in fast enough. And the cars are just picking it up right up off the road on their tires. But they went over their road report and equipment updates. Commissioner Wiltse and I met with the sheriff and undersheriff last week after our meeting, and we talked about the ads and the Facebook, just like the sheriff talked about earlier, and gave us a update on his new secretary, administrative secretary, how it's going there. And we talked about some of the issues around the buildings. So I gotta tell you that recently I have been really bombarded with a lot of people calling me and talking to me on the street about different issues. More than normal, I would say, getting calls at night, friendly calls, just want to know things. I'm surprised how many more calls I'm getting. They're just wanting information about numerous topics. So a lot of stuff they see in the paper, things like that. So that's all I got.
Not a specific subject matter?
No, probably not. Just if anything, well, like the car made the paper 2-3 weeks. So they asked about that and the series of events leading up to it and all that jazz. So, but not generally, just a number of different things.
Commissioner Wiltie?
Well, like normal, I've got a lot. Mills Township, I have my monthly meeting next week, but a big item there as always is light. We need to do a better, more consistent job there, that's for sure. A lot of the residents are extremely happy that the high banks talks have looked pretty positive, that we're hopefully gonna find a good resolution to keep that within the county. Go along with law enforcement, we had that meeting last week, that went really well. Looking forward to, getting back to some consistent reports from the sheriff. Social media, I feel, is gonna get stronger, which is a really good thing. We talked about the position for the jail administrator slash, person in charge that will be heading up the jail, which, that's going to be a topic here this summer. We talked about time clocks. We talked about a lot of good things. Another important item that we have coming up for the county is a CERT. You guys all heard me say I am a CERT member, which is our community emergency resource team, headed by Michael Bowers. And we have a really cool event coming up on June 24th at McLaren Hospital. It's going to be from noon to 4 o'clock in the parking lot. And we're going to have our new CERT trailer that was donated to us. We're going to have EMS there, some local township volunteer fire departments will be there. That's going to be a really neat event. And that's again on Saturday, June 24th from 12 to 4 at the McLaren parking lot. Transit, we have a meeting coming up. We do know that our Saturday service is still continued. We're working on maintenance. We're hopefully going to be locking down the new construction as we get the final approval from MDOT. So all going good there. EMS, we all know we have quite a few things going on there. Our past administrative assistant has retired. And we had an interview process and we brought on which we opened up to everyone. It was not just an in-house process. We had an interview panel for that. I was on the interview panel and we did hire our in-house trainer. His name is Justin. And I greatly apologize. The last name right now is pulling the blank for me, but a very talented young man doing a lot of good things at EMS. He would be working part-time as the administrative assistant and then also working on the road. We've got a lot of things we're working on there with our financial situation there not being extremely favorable. We're continuing to work really hard to make some good moves there. Plus, at the end of the summer, our administrator will be leaving. So that's going to be a topic that we already are working on, and I'll keep you guys posted on that. One last thing for the EDC. I know I handed you guys all these at one of our last meetings, but our June 15th meeting from 4:30 to 6 o'clock is a very, very important meeting, especially for anyone in the county that has a business or is looking to maybe start a business. It's a great opportunity to meet some key people that can answer questions, help them with the startup, and then also if they have an existing business to help them make moves to be more efficient and more profitable. That's all I have for today.
Thank you. Item 14, general public comments. Is there any public comment in the room? This is any subject matter, same rules apply. Any public comment in the room? Any public comment on the phone? No public comment on the phone? Item 15, adjournment.
Yeah.
To adjourn.
We have a motion for Commissioner Scott with support from Commissioner Mayhew to adjourn at 9:53. Motion adjourned. Thanks, guys.
Irony.
Wow, that was quick.